Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Technology Show, where our experts translate geek into regular speak. How do you feel about mixed reality versus virtual reality? And what are your thoughts? Gadgets or games? And where exactly are you on the battlefield of Windows versus Apple? Stay tuned for our special geek guests. And now, it's over to our Techsperts.
It is that time of the week. It's the Techknowledgy Show where we turn geek. Sorry. We translate geek.
we do translate.
We can turn geeks as well.
We can turn it. We can do all kinds. We translate into regular speak.
There we go.
Geek into speak.
I just do not know where this year has run out. Let's talk weather because it was freakishly hot yesterday. I don't know if you had it, but I had it freakishly hot.
I was up in a beautiful part of New South Wales in the Ku-ring-gai National Park called Cottage Point, looking out on the water. It was actually a bit chilly.
Really?
Yeah.
I put sunblock on yesterday. It's the first time I've put sunblock on this year. So that tells me it's starting to get hot.
Yeah.
Hot. Well, yes, no.
Well, no, the transition to the app of the week is relevant because you're going to be spending more time indoors if you have AC. Won't spoil it, but app of the week time?
It is, and it's not new. Well, it is new. You know, okay, I have to get this off my chest, and I'm pretty sure I've said this before in an episode.
Get it off.
New and improved. That's what people put on their packaging. You get like this washing powder that says new and improved. Please, people, if something is new, it means it's never been seen before. Therefore, it can't be improved. So it can't be new and improved. It can be improved, or it can be new, but it can't be new and improved. So the improved app of the week is Google Home. Dun, dun, dun. I was like, silence there. I was finished my ranting and raving. I was about to say the new and improved because it's not new.
No.
Okay.
Well, this being a Google product, I already have to say thank you, Brett.
Well, I thought I'd give you one. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've been... okay, hold on a second though. I'm always pro Google. You know that. I use Google and Gmail and everything even on my iPhone. I can't stand Maps. I use Google Maps. I'm just not an Android fan versus an iOS fan.
Yep.
That's the only differentiator. And I carry an Android phone. So why did I choose to go to Google Home as an app of the week? Well, I've got a Chromecast, I've got a Google Home, and I have a smart TV. And I must say that the previous home, so before Google Home, you had to use the Chromecast app to set up the TV. Then you had to use the smart speaker device to set up the speaker device. And then Google got clever and came up with the Home app, which basically brought it all together. I found it was very clunky. I thought it was a terrible app. I don't know what your experience was because you got the same type of devices.
It was honestly confusing, cumbersome. It didn't do what you needed it to do. It did everything but. Like if you're trying to connect Chromecast and find a Chromecast device, it's like, well, here's a Chromecast device, but can I connect it? It's like, can't find it on your network. It's like, dude, of course not, because it's not connected yet.
Yep.
Bro.
So basically it was like the kid that didn't do his homework and it was school the next day and they just had to put the app out. That was my feeling of the original Home. I have now gone 180 degrees to the right. Ooh. The new one is beautiful.
You can't go 180 degrees to the right. You got to go back.
Okay, I can go 90 degrees to the right to get to a parallel and lie down with my Google Home app and control my devices.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what it did.
That's it.
Absolutely, really. It is beautiful. You fire it up and my two devices appear there in the home screen. Look at yours. You've got your devices as well.
Yep.
I must say that the iOS and the Android version are pretty much identical because it wasn't the case.
No.
That was also confusing for me. So if I picked up my Android, I use an Android tablet to control all the home devices because they Google.
Okay.
And it was totally different to my phone. So I'd pick up my phone and just say, just flick up there. And it's like, there is nothing to flick up. Now I'm looking at your screen, totally unified. It says dining room speaker and shows me a picture of my Google Home. Boom. What else could I want? I can click it. Okay, now it's not going to find it. I'm sitting in the studio. But when I do, it brings up its volume control. It tells me what's playing on it. I can then go to the videos of it. And then the suggested view. Well, we can talk about that now. So the UI is, for me, 10 out of 10 from where they were. What I was saying with regards to Discover, there's a little like compass icon at the bottom of the screen. You got the same, don't you? Like in your hot buttons.
Yes, there is a compass.
And that brings up Discover. So it shows you what you've searched for, so your history, but it also then makes... I love the way they've just slotted in an advert for the Google Home Hub.
Absolutely.
Have you got that as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, right there.
So much for targeted advertising, right? But then you can actually discover content through the other platforms, which is YouTube. So you can bring up videos in that. Your play controls I can't talk about now, but I can play on the phone and then cast to the devices and choose the devices. And then obviously profiles are lost button. That's all you need for an app.
Now, here's an interesting one. So I went on my honeymoon anniversary.
Honeymoon anniversary. I've used that as a hashtag already.
Now, I took my Chrome from my room.
Dude, do you know what the purpose of a honeymoon anniversary was? Do I need to tell you this? You are old enough, right? You shouldn't be taking devices. Well, there's some devices you can take, but not the Chrome.
Yeah, no, it was more just to be able to do more than just watch whatever they had on the TV. Right?
Okay.
So there's Netflix on the TV.
Yeah.
So, and that means we could do Netflix and chill. Another story. So the funny thing is that I took my Chrome, set it up, had to reset it up because it couldn't find the device when I plugged it in. So I did like rename it,
with the new
redo
app.
it. It was with the old app. So this happened in the last week or so.
Yeah, no,
right?
this is new. That's why it popped up on my radar.
It's now
new and improved.
It's finding my new Chromecast, but it's not finding the old one anymore. So I guess it went through and renamed it, and now the old one's gone, the new one's in.
That's weird, though.
Yeah, I was like, wait.
Does that affect your other devices, though? Like, if you're trying to cast from your phone, does it still have the pairing?
Yeah. So it has the home.
See, I haven't had that because I haven't actually disconnected the devices. But the fact that you could do it that easily on a foreign Wi-Fi, oh no, you're using your phone. You were just casting directly from your phone to the cast.
So this is where so the setup when you take it to a new environment is like you're doing it flat. Like straight again. So you have to go in, find a new Wi-Fi, set it up, rename it.
Apple's the same.
Yeah.
So it's not even like a bash.
Yeah.
Apple TV is exactly the same.
Yeah, that's on the cast. Now, what I love about this Google Home, and I'm not sure if you've done this before, but if you want to freak people out, you're talking about Tribi kind of does this, but you can do a broadcast on your Google Home. So from here you can record, and then it will record your voice and we'll send it off.
I have done that.
Yeah, you can freak the crap out of people.
Because Cade sits right by the speaker playing his games, and I freak him out. I send these little cryptic messages.
Yeah.
I have done.
No, it's
the Trivi does the same thing as well. So, I mean, yeah, it's not an app that's complex. It's an app that you only need if you have smart devices. But I'm thinking that every single person, even the TVs now coming with Chromecast. I saw yesterday when I was in the shopping mall, a lady was coming out with some brand of TV I've never heard of, Sonic or something. Sonic. You've nodding your head, so you've
cheap and cheerful,
built-in Chromecast. That's what that was the point I was trying to get at. I've never heard of this brand before, so I'm assuming it's like a Harvey Norman's brand or whatever the other one, JB Hi-Fi brand, whatever they called. But it had Chromecast built in on the box. I thought, wow, that's...
the platform behind Telstra TV. I want to say Kubo. It's not Kubo. It's one of these. Roku, yeah. So Roku is built into a bunch of TVs.
Car that put that together.
So they're kicking it because it's like an alternative to Amazon, but you can still quote unquote cast and connect your phone and all that kind of stuff. So that idea of casting is not unique, but where Google's kind of coming in, we mentioned the Google Home Hub before. I think we should talk about that a little bit more in the tech news section because that is a very interesting play that they're doing there.
So let's stop it there, wrap up the app, and carry on straight away after a sound effect.
App of the week, sound effect.
So you were saying now, I mean, how's that? I feel like we're in a series. You know, when you go to ad break and then it comes straight back in, it's like, wait, shit, I haven't got my beer yet. Come back. Yeah, you're going to start to at the hub, the new hub.
So there's a very short and sweet conversation I think that we should have because I've had this conversation twice.
Before you
now,
do, tech news with a Z. Yeah, okay, carry on now. We're doing it all over the place.
We mentioned briefly last week about the Facebook show. I think it's called Facebook Show, where the Facebook Messenger dedicated messaging platform, video hardware.
Another copy from Facebook. Well done, Zuckerberg.
So
you even deserve a ping.
Exactly.
That's a good one.
So Google Home Hub intentionally doesn't have a camera on it. It is meant to be an information device that serves you information. It's not meant to be a communication
Think of
device.
that.
Right?
I actually didn't think of that.
Echo, Echo Show is what it is.
That's Amazon.
It's
Echo.
Amazon.
Yeah.
It is kind of trying to be an all-in-one with the, see it, have a home communication, but it only allows communication between Echo devices.
Because that's a fail.
Right? And that's it's a fail. You need ubiquitous. Everyone has to have an Echo, and they're relying on the retail side of things. Now Facebook comes in, and Facebook quietly kind of puts out Facebook for Business, and so we know that Skype is crap.
That's right. It came from the technology page.
Yeah.
The advert.
Microsoft doesn't have a hardware yet, so it's this interesting play where Facebook could kind of side in 2 billion users, business conversation device, and in family. Put one of these little things in each room or on your desk at work, and they kind of sneak in as the sort of, and imagine if they partnered with Jabra for sound.
Okay,
right?
so here's a question. Do we need it?
No. God,
but that's
no.
the thing, because you and I have said often, why?
Yeah.
So do we need it? Every single phone nowadays has the ability to do video call.
Absolutely.
Pretty much. I'm talking about a feature phone, right? Any smartphone running Android 4.1, I think, is the lowest you can get now, has a front-facing camera, can make a video call.
Yep.
Why would I stand up to go and find my Facebook thing to make a video call when I could be exactly where I am and just make the call? Or an Echo. I'm not just actually bashing Zuckerberg. I'm bashing this dedicated mentality that the hardware people still do.
I can only see that cheap and cheerful alternative to those ridiculously expensive Cisco platforms, right?
Okay,
Automatic
that I agree,
hardware.
but that's not Facebook's place. I mean, I know they're trying to look at the business side, and
they're trying.
They're trying, and that's a very operative word.
Yeah.
Okay, Google Wave goodbye, all these wonderful things.
Totally.
I'm just saying that, and Facebook's losing so much love from the younger generation anyway.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going. The next words that come out of my mouth would be prejudice. I'm not suggesting that people over the age of 50 don't work anymore. In fact, I know a ton of people over the age of 50 that work, and I'm sure that when I'm over 50, I'll be working too. But the general corporate environment is a younger environment, and they're not going to move to Facebook cameras because it's going to encourage using Facebook at work.
So
it's an interesting one, actually.
Who makes the hardware and IT investment decisions? Usually CTO down, right?
Which is an older guy as well.
Older guy, CEO says, hey, there's this Facebook thing. We need to outfit this. How many people in the business have Facebook accounts? Well, pretty much 98% of them.
I have to cut you off there. There's a fantastic point. Would you pair your personal Facebook account at work to a work environment? I know the answer. I'm talking about corporate work now, not our work where we wear shorts and T-shirts to work. I'm talking about the big bad man.
So 3 years ago, what I did and how I used Facebook, and I think a lot of people, our generation and age, was a very different play.
Yeah.
I put everything on Facebook.
Yep.
I talk to people.
And that's why I'm putting
stuff,
the question.
Right?
Woohoo!
Right? But jump today, I barely use it. I'm going to use it to look at what a few people post on. It's used for events. I'll do photo uploads, and I'll auto.
So stop at events.
Yeah.
Okay, there's an event this weekend. I know you don't drink, but there was an event this weekend. There was Newtown.
The Newtown Festival.
Jeff and the boys were there.
Yeah.
Packed like sardines, right?
Yeah.
There's drinking and drugging and clubbing and everything else going on. Would you want your manager to see that, so that now it's Monday, it's 10 o'clock, you've still got that glazed look in your eye because you went big yesterday, and all he does is he pops up on Facebook and goes, "I'm not surprised your productivity's down." I think it's a fail, man. I think where Facebook for business would work is that young little startup business where you're sharing and you're venting. It's actually like to replace Slack. That's what they're going to do, because your comms will be on Facebook. Then your video will be on Facebook. But I would not put a dedicated device. And also they had so much shit with Cambridge Analytica and that. Now I've got cameras and them listening to me in my house. No.
So flip it around there on the what kind of data Facebook can pull. We know that they've got image recognition, facial recognition, and this. So here's another question: Microsoft, you've got Skype, and we've had this conversation. You got Skype, you've got LinkedIn, you have arguably some of the best PC hardware out there right now.
Arguably is quite a good word.
Well, I mean, the Surface line of things, the Surface Studio, the big one.
No, I must say that's actually an impressive piece of kit.
Everyone who's seen it use it, it's like this is kind of like it's as close to Microsoft's kind of that future video of swiping.
No,
images
it is a good
and
piece
all
of
that
kit,
stuff, right? So if you were to create the silver bullet business hardware communication
Apple Mac.
tool,
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
no, but I mean, from if you were to do meeting planning and all this kind of stuff, I mean, to be able to sit there and have a screen at the bottom of the screen has the faces of all the people in the meeting, their little LinkedIn data coming through, right? All
I think
their
that's
connections.
awesome.
Like it's right there sitting there waiting.
We can do that. We don't need Facebook.
We can and you've got like Crystal and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
you do have stuff, but it's like
Forgot about Crystal.
missing.
Let's look up on that again. What was the other one? It was like Alfred or something. Used to also pull data and send it to us, like of who you're meeting, and then it got shut down. You know what my problem with Facebook is? They got too big too quickly. Try to do and be everything for everyone, and their platform was actually shit. It was clunky. It was ugly. You had a separate version of mobile than you did to this, and I think it's because it was built on Ruby actually, because Ruby is what Twitter and everyone else built on. It's strong, it's solid, it lasts.
I'm just looking at my screen and Facebook tells me that Brett Levy is
It's nearby.
Thank you, Facebook.
How would you have ever figured that out without Facebook? I mean, that's
it's a tough
mind blown.
one. Tough one.
LinkedIn actually now does that feature as well. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
You can see it on the
near me.
top. It's the near me whatever.
But for me, LinkedIn's a bit creepier.
But
Because I
LinkedIn's
haven't
lost its glow
necessarily-
though, man.
Ah.
Like it's just all about money now. Well, that's Microsoft. Anyway, let's move on from Facebook. What is it called anyway? Their home hubby thing. Spy on your wife while you're at your work device. I don't know.
What was that
I
called?
don't know. But move on.
It's so like not interesting.
So we had on the show last week, we mentioned Royale, the folding phone.
Yep.
So I think Samsung listened to our show last week.
Is it the FlexiPi or?
FlexiPi,
Yeah.
but they've now released a glimpse, not their phone. Samsung showed off because it was their developer week
Their
Wednesday, I
folding
think.
phone. Yeah.
I have to say from the glimpse that I saw, it's an impressive device. It really is an impressive device. And I think they'll do well. I think it folds inwards, which was what your concern was, where everyone else has been folding outwards.
Yeah.
They seem to fold in, that protect, but it looks like it shows through as well. So you
I
can
don't
still.
know.
That part I couldn't figure out. It literally was a glimpse. It was like a GIF. Like there, that's what I saw of it.
It's like
It's
like
weird.
tall.
Yeah.
It's taller, and then it folds out to like a 7.2 inch.
That's what I'm. Yeah, it's as if
Screen
they've
or
taken
something
a
like
tablet
that.
on its side and then folded it in half, like
Yeah.
a slab of chocolate, and
But
folded it.
it looked, and we spoke about this before, but like the Nokia communicator before, it looked thickish, like kind of like a brick, like
Do you remember the Nokia
bar.
communicator? I loved
Yeah.
that phone. That was my favorite phone.
It looked like that, and I was like,
No one's going to carry that around.
well, I was chatting with a mate on Friday about it, and he had the Huawei Mate 20.
Mm?
The mate had a Mate.
Your mate. Her mate.
That is a sexy phone. It has
It is a-
the four.
It's got a notch.
Four lens. It does have a notch. Notch is pretty small.
It's still got a notch. Viva Apple.
Ridiculously huge battery, and I think.
What is its screen? That's like a 6.8 or something. It's big.
I think so.
It's
yeah.
like almost the equivalent of an 8-inch tablet when you take its screen, because it's bezel-less.
Yeah, it's got the four cameras on the back and the Leica.
Yeah, that's
lenses.
right.
Yeah, so it's there, but the screen, and this is the Note 9 and Note 8. It's still that conversation around if you're going to use for a tablet, and this gets to like the small iPad size. It's like what you're doing on the device. If I'm going to take notes, he has a Samsung S4 tablet.
Oh, I was going to say, I thought he had an S4 phone. I'm like, what mate do you hang out with?
So that and that is what he uses for meetings and notes and taking in app, but it's still two devices. So in my argument is that if it's slim enough when it's folded and it has the stylus capability, and it made like double the screen size of my phone right now, like I would totally use it.
I'm going to tell you why you wouldn't, because I know you well enough. The way you chew through battery, you're going to lose both your devices at the same time if you don't have a battery pack. That's the only reason why this all-in-one device concept will fail.
So here's an interesting one. The Mate and Huawei, mate. I think they may have gotten it right because he was saying that there's the 4 processors in it actually measure and analyze what activity you're doing and will ramp down.
That's so like the Hemi engine. The Jeep Hemi does the same thing. It turns off its cylinders when they're not needed.
So you're getting, not only does it have a massive battery in it, you're getting like way extended battery power. So if you could actually see and do that, and if Android would just wake up to the fact if I'm not using apps, like use a little AI to like turn shit off.
Good news for you. That was the announcement that Samsung made. I mean, you use Samsung devices.
Yeah.
They're now talking about what they call Samsung UR. See, I do watch everyone's shows. Removing the bloatware, bringing it uniform. So whether you're on tablet or on phone, I think they're going to range it all the way back from Galaxy 8. We'll get the UR update when they release it, and that's supposed to increase battery life, because they don't have that bloatware shit running the whole time.
Yeah.
That's the bigger argument for you. Where I love the Chinese brands. If the Chinese brands could get their build quality right, and I mean, I know all the devices are built there. I'm talking about the Chinese brands that are... Aryeh's looking at his coffee cup. Does your milk look like my milk did? Is that why your face... Yeah, I got the same.
Dude, we need to take a picture of that.
I don't know. I was looking at my milk.
I'm scared of what's going to happen to me in the next hour, dude.
Sorry. Well, these people know the show's live and unedited, but look, I've left mine as well. It's got the same thing.
Dude, seriously.
We can't tell our futures off our tea leaves, but we can off our coffee, and that's like sitting on the toilet if you drink that. Anyway, back to... So... The Chinese phones, like I'm talking about the absolute no-name brands, not the brands we know, not the ZTEs, not the guys that have just moved like the cream on your coffee.
Yeah.
The no-name brands, they strip down to bare minimum.
Yeah.
And that's awesome Android. Their batteries run. Okay, their cameras are crap, their phones are crap, their builds are crap, but it works. It doesn't ever hang because it doesn't have this other rubbish running on it. And that's what Samsung needs to get right.
Okay, so here's a question.
No, I'm not leaving Apple.
No.
Okay.
High end, the top of the line phones,
like
right?
a Huawei or Samsung.
Huawei Mate 20, you're talking over $1,000. Note 9, easily over $1,000. iPhone 10s,
2,000,
right? 10SX, even the 10R with the full battery, you're still close to 1,000, right?
Yeah. No, with the big memory, it's $1,000.
Right, big memory, $1,000. OnePlus 6.
I know, that's a great phone.
$630 in Australia.
Yep, I know.
Like the highest end Oppo is like $800.
Well, Alcatel's the same. Look at Alcatel, exactly. The V5.
Dude, the V5, Marcia's like it's incredible. Although, do not drop in the water. That's all I can say.
Did you drop in the water?
I didn't drop in the water. It fell in the water. Let's say that. And the rice trick hopefully worked for those of you.
Oh yeah, the rice trick and the bag of rice.
If you drop your phone in the water, try to manually get as much of the water out, but put it in a bag of rice.
I know, because the rice draws it. Yeah, it's looking for water. Oh, that's shitty. Sorry about that.
Still working with the.
But the point that you're making though is that you can get an affordable device.
Yeah.
And the stuff that we've seen even from Alcatel, I mean, they're friends of the show. We get devices all the time and we play and review them. They've never tried to be anything. They haven't tried to be this top of the range device.
No.
Super finished, but their phones are good, batteries are good.
Yep.
And they've also cut down their bloatware. Their Alcatel layer is not bad.
Super simple. The one thing that we have to talk about with all these phones is you're getting 20 megapixel cameras. You're getting ridiculous AI running on the cameras, but most of the time, the only place that the average user is going to look at their photos is on their phones.
Yes.
Right.
I got into trouble for that, by the way, the other day.
Okay.
Because I've been backing up to the cloud and it cuts the quality. And Carol needed a print for a yearbook.
And then
and I've got all the photos there. And she was like, "Where are the originals?" I was like, "What originals?" Those are my photos.
And then
they're like 1 meg.
Yep.
Anyway.
But the quality you look on your phone is going to be as good as the screen is on your phone.
Yes.
Right? So you probably only need like 5 megapixels or 8 megapixels to get a really good experience of what you're going to see. And so that's
actually such a good conversation. You're right. They pack all these high-tech cams into the cheap phones to sell them. But if you look at the phone, you go, "Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, that kind of looks like me."
Instagram's going to optimize it anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're talking about posting on social media or sharing it there's already an auto...
Unless you are planning to print or save onto another device. Sorry, girl. Yeah, I took flack for that. I do think that in 3 years from now, even the El Cheapos are going to be better than anything we've got today, because it's almost that hand-me-down technology thing.
Yep.
But for me, the holy grail is still battery. I must say that my new iPhone is 100 times better than my old phone from a battery point of view. I know we're still in the honeymoon anniversary stage, and they will throttle it and do what they do after the bench test, but I am getting a full day, which I never got on my Plus.
That's awesome.
I do have to kick one in the chops, and I know you'll agree with me on Samsung on the other announcement they made. They're carrying on with this Bixby crap, their assistant, and they're making it cleverer. Why? Why? You're running Android. Android's assistant is the best out there, and I'm saying that as an Apple user. Why?
So Amazon announces their kind of big like aha moment at the Amazon announcement everyone talked about was the Alexa-powered microwave.
Yes.
Which didn't even actually do what you expect it to do.
No,
right?
It just turns on and off.
Yeah,
literally.
But it has Alexa listening to you, right? Now, unlike Amazon and Google, Samsung actually has washer, dryer, microwave, fridge, stove, every appliance in the world, water boiler. So, if you were to go out and their system is good enough, you instantly could actually install a full smart home experience that would actually work.
Okay, hold on a second. So I'm going to combat that. You're right. For any new device from tomorrow. But the reason why we have IoT, and like the guys in South Africa as well that built that Edge in the Raptor, is to bring current technology into the fray. You just put a little, help me out with the word, I got my fingers together showing a little thing that plugs in, not a dongle, but a little connector. I don't know I can't think of the word now, but you put a little connector in, and all of a sudden a dumb machine is now a smart machine, and that will run on Google Home or any of the other. We don't need a Samsung. And the other thing I'm going to say, and I'll tell you where I'll defend that statement, I guarantee you there isn't a single home out there, unless you work for Samsung, that has all Samsung products. You buy your fridge from Miele, you buy your stove from, well, your stove comes built in 99% of the times. You buy your microwave from X. I mean, if you look at your house and I look at mine, I can guarantee you now, I actually have two Samsung devices. I have a Samsung washing machine, dryer combo thingy, and I have a Samsung TV. That's it. Everything else is a different brand. I can't even tell what the brands are. Not off the top of my head.
I have a Samsung fridge, and I think the washer might be Samsung.
There we go.
Yeah.
And when you move, because was that your washer or was that built in?
I had to buy it.
Okay. My washer, my dishwasher is built in. So that's not even mine. So all I'm saying is you're 100% right, and what you're saying makes sense if that is their thinking. But unless they're going to give us our homes for free with all our white appliances in them, then yeah, you still don't need it. Whereas Google will work with everything.
So the only I'll throw out is my mate Kelvin Chang, who we've got to get on the show. He's got a company called Life Room, and they do outfitting for new buildings. Mostly Chinese companies are doing Chinese developments, but to do the smart home integration. So there's an Italian company they represent, and I think it's now integrated with Amazon and Google. But they'll put it in so it's got the smart lighting and the smart thermostat already, with the capability to add into all the other stuff. And so the pre-build in the buildings has it all built in. So,
but that's what I'm saying. New, like if you win a contract,
yeah, totally.
Even if you win a contract to build, like Craig and Denwell and the guys that build. So they're building the Archibald and Bondi. It's got, 100, 200, 300 apartments.
Yeah.
The ovens will be the same. The dishwashers, if they're putting in, I don't know what the spec is, but if they're speccing it like with appliances, they've done a deal with a vendor. And it will be the same because that makes sense. It's 300 apartments. 300 meters in a circumference around that building is 30,000 appliances that are all different. And that's the only thing that I see. I think they're a bit late to the game for that, whereas Google and Amazon have been hunting the home forever, and their combat that will be just add on one of these little dongles. I'm just going to call it a dongle because I can't think of the word, and it's connected, and put in a bridge.
If they can Unless they do something to Bixby that makes it just absolutely incredible and they surpass Google.
Your Bixby button has been turned off and you've allocated it to something else.
I never use Bixby.
There we go.
No, I'm totally, absolutely.
And you're a devout Samsung user. As long as I've known you've had Samsung. So here's someone who will always buy a Samsung device. When the Note, what's it now? 8, 9. When the 9 comes out, you'll probably get that on your upgrade. That would be the phone you'd choose. But you're not going to use the Bixby. It's like building for building's sake. And I actually enjoyed the presentation. I loved the concept of UR. The glimpse was just a glimpse, but then they just undid it with Bixby.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Do you have any other?
I actually do.
Tech
I just
news?
want to say a bell ringing to zero. They've just approached 1 million users in Australia.
Good.
For a company that
million
comes
users in zero. That's pretty
a
impressive.
lot.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're new kids on the block. We use Zero. It's easy to use, great product. I'm just not over. I've got to get over this 2-point authenticator. That's something we need to talk about as well on the show. This need for 2-point authentication. It's just like, I'm a big boy. I should be able to decide if I want 2-point authentication. I know what my risks are. I should have the ability to turn it off, but they don't let me.
You should be able to make it biometric so that it automatically goes to your watch and checks your heart rate.
I can do it on my phone.
Yeah.
Like on my phone, I can set the authenticator, which incidentally I use Google Authenticator.
Yeah.
I can set the authenticator to default and program it in itself. And because my phone and my Mac are paired automatically, it actually hands off and does it for me on the Mac. I don't know if the Windows, Android computers do that.
The Android one does.
Okay.
It's still annoying though.
But it is annoying. And I don't have the choice. It's like basically saying to me, I know what the risks are. Rather give me a clause that says, if you don't put 2-point authentication, we're not liable if anyone gets your data. And tick the box and sign an email that comes through to reconfirm. And it's all on me. That's my bad. But if I'm running around, I don't have my Mac and I don't have this and I can't remember my password, it's really a pain in the ass. Anyway, but it's a positive post. I think that 1 million Australian users is, I think it's Australian and New Zealand. I don't think it's just Australia. I think it's Australia and New Zealand. I think Zero comes from New Zealand originally.
Okay.
It is. It's Australia, and I've just looked at my notes. But 1 million, well done. I think that's really good. I mean, 2-3 years ago, no one knew what Zero was.
Yep.
And boom. That's all I have. What do you got? Anything else?
A bunch of random news, but I can save it for next week. The only one that I thought was standout is the guys that own Ethereum.
The Ethereum crypto coin.
Yeah.
What have they done now? Should I sell?
No. They've bought an asteroid mining company called Planetary Resources.
Do you know how much ore there is on asteroids?
Oh yeah.
But that's why they're going mining up there.
It's absolutely. I mean, it's the next step. If anyone's watched,
it's actually ridiculous. I never thought of it that way. But the minerals on those things is insane.
What's the space show? The Expanse.
Star Trek?
The Expanse. So the Expanse is all about, there's a Mars colony and then there's all these miners, up in space and there's asteroid people and they've been, a few generations and their bodies have changed stuff. Asteroid mining is absolutely going to happen.
Yeah.
No question. It has to.
Elon Musk is probably already building something to go up there. Oh, wait, hold on a second. He's sitting licking wounds at the moment.
That's actually a bit of news.
What? Musk?
The roadster he sent into space just flew past Mars.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So if anyone looking for a free Tesla, if you can get just past Mars at the moment, look, according to conspiracy theorists, we've never actually broken our stratosphere, but that's a different show for a different day. But if you just go, did it pass towards the left or to the right? I just need to give the listeners accurate directions. To the left, right, there we go.
Yeah.
You see someone up there. Where's this? I listened to the show. Oh, sorry, guys, I went right. It was our left, your right. We're looking at the screen. Exactly. Also, news on that is the lady from Telstra has just stepped down to take up the chair of Tesla.
Pretty impressive.
So that's that's news as well. You know what? We haven't seen the end of Elon Musk. He's going to lick his wounds. He's going to do something. He's probably going to come back with not the boring company because he's already got that. He's going to come back with something else. I am concerned though with what's going on with Tesla. I really do wish they'd be honest and just stand up and say, yes, all those thousands of Teslas you've seen parked and dumped all over the place, they are ours and we haven't delivered them. Or no, it's a conspiracy theory or something, but just own up to it because it's just killing their brand, and all the other car companies are coming up with electric cars now. So come on, Elon, come on, Tesla, do something cool.
Make it.
It is extended reality time.
XR.
I can't actually believe that we've only done 2 segments in the show. Lucky we don't have a guest today because we are going to run out of time. So I'm going to watch the time, but let's go to AR first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm looking at my first note. I have to. My heading says Samsung copies Apple ... again. I've just been talking about Samsung, so I need to put my... No, okay. It's not a case of copying. I mean, we know they both play, but they've announced that they're going to focus on AR during... That's why I didn't talk about it in their summit.
Yep.
They've talked about focusing on AR. Now, why I say they're copying Apple is that Samsung is always positioned in VR. They had the Gear. They had the deal with Oculus to put the Oculus Gear technology headset. Yes, it was 3 degrees of freedom. No, it wasn't 6 degrees of freedom. If you do not know what we're talking about, you should have listened to the old shows. I'm not going to go into it. But the point that I'm making is, why would they do the 180? Like, if that's where they'd put their mark and Apple was playing at AR, why are they now shifting to AR? Is it because of volume and they want to eat that lunch?
Samsung's moving into AR?
Yeah, they're putting a big focus. They've said they've got a thing called Project Wear Cloud, but it's spelled funny. It's WHARE.
Yeah.
Which is... My understanding is they're going to make a cloud that will allow you to store all your AR content and do the rendering and conditioning and everything that needs to happen to all the polys. Okay, let's dumb down that for people. So the biggest problem with graphics is the rendering process. You have to have incredibly big files to make AR and VR work because of all the different degrees and what you're looking at. So machines have to render these things, these 3D graphics. So rendering farms is a very big and real thing. You load up your artwork into the cloud and you pay these people money and they render it for you and they give you back the finished product. And it takes hours instead of days and weeks. So for the smaller studios, this has been the norm. So my interpretation of what they're doing with Project Wear Cloud, incidentally, if you take out the R and put an L, you get whale, which is the Google. Anyway, so... If they're now going to start offering rendering services so that people can create AR content from their phones, send it to the cloud, let it get rendered into full-blown AR, and then what? Are they going to give you a headset that it comes back and augments what you've seen? I don't know.
I had a bit of a conversation. I spent some time with our friend, Mr. Roger Lawrence, yesterday, and beautiful motorcycle ride up to the mountains. That's what I was at Cottage Point with.
Hold on a second. What motorbike? Did you guys a passenger?
I was a passenger, yeah.
You brave.
On his Ducati.
You brave. I know what he rides, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was a good, interesting ride. But
did you hold him around the waist, or did you?
I did not. I have a hands behind me. No, it wasn't a romantic ride. But he agreed with the conversation I had with someone else, which is around the missing pieces of AR and VR. And there's a few pieces that have to come together. But when 5G is enabled and becomes ubiquitous and everywhere, the requirement for the device to be super powerful, right, translates into the time spent, delivering content to it. So the Magic Leap concept, the Apple eyewear, Samsung's obviously going to come out with their own. And if it's mixed reality or if it's VR, AR, if they are owning part of that, the machinery that's actually doing the rendering and the content creation, the
Project Wear,
right? That puts them in a place to be delivering content not just on their devices but across the board. And so if they can actually get in early,
but they're not early though.
So, but Apple is Apple.
No, I'm not even talking. No, look, when it comes to VR and AR, Apple's not even a player. They're a pimple.
They're trying.
Yeah, but that's only because of the devices and what they're doing. And Apple being Apple is doing it for Apple. They're not trying to play nicely with everyone else.
Yeah.
Okay. What you do have to remember with Apple is that 95% of the design industry is Apple. So straight away, all the studios that are running, they're either running the old silicone graphics machines or they're running big Macs. They're not running PCs, not for that kind of work.
And what screens are being used by Apple?
Samsung. Are they still Samsung or are they now Foxtel?
I think they've Foxconn, right?
Foxconn.
I think they've switched. They've
They
switched
did
only
switch.
recently, but
Just before the 10.
Yeah,
I think
but
the 8 was still the Samsung screen.
But like you do have that. I mean, Samsung's always kind of been a
Samsung's
behind-the-back
bigger
player.
than Apple. We know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we know that. But what I'm saying is that they were doing so well in VR. They could have just stayed there and made that their mainstay. Now it's just another system. In fact, I'm looking at the name Gear. So GE and then what? Capital AR. We're going to come out with a Gear.
Oh, God.
Now, I don't know.
I hope not.
Oh, I never know. But anyway, I kind of like, you know what, guys? You're good at what you do. You've already got Oculus as a partnership. You can't ask for better than that. Okay? So stay with it. Don't dilute, because Oculus is going to turn around and say, hold on a second, we're only looking at VR. We're not looking at AR. We're not looking at mixed reality yet. So thanks. We need a new partner. Watch Huawei or Xiaomi or one of these guys just run through the doors and say thank you very much. Anywho, what you got?
So I've got another a similar Me Too story. Williams Sonoma, the
Why do I know that name?
Furniture maker, they're kind of indoor furniture, high
yeah,
end.
Yeah.
They're taking a baby step into the augmented reality game by allowing you to see furniture in your house. So copycat IKEA.
I was going to say IKEA.
Yeah, it's IKEA and a couple others. So it's interesting, how what a piece of furniture is going to look like in your house. I think it's an excellent use case, and it's a use case that argues that your phone is actually a good way to use it because you're using it as a viewfinder to see what it looks like. It's not a Me Too, but it's one of those things. It's almost like everyone should have it.
I was about to say, while you were telling the story, the thing that was going through my mind is that I don't mind it as a Me Too.
Yeah.
Because if we start using it for that, then it becomes normal. So it facilitates the online purchasing.
Yeah.
People like IKEA would benefit from that anyway, because if you've got the Williams Sonoma, how do you pronounce, what's the surname?
Sonoma.
Williams
Sonoma, yeah.
If you've got that clientele that is using the app, then for their kids' room or for their guest house or something where they might not be putting that product in, they'll be quite comfortable picking up the IKEA app and doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So now I'm all for it, and it just becomes normal. We want people to use AR as a normal extension of their device.
So here's an interesting one where we need to see a change. Web AR is available.
It is.
Web VR is available.
It is.
So,
why aren't we using it?
Stop building another app and just allow us to use the browser, right? I mean, that's that next leap of, and we're going to see more apps. That goes
to the agencies. That's on the agencies convincing their clients to do it.
Absolutely. And it's also the lazier, I don't want to learn how to do that.
Correct.
I'm going to go know what I know how to do. So the guys at Platar, Rupert.
Rupert.
Yeah. So their web AR platform is ready to go. So interesting to see what comes out of that. But again, adoption rate. I think they need people like us to be like, hey, why are you not doing that? The brand should be like, why are you building me an app?
Hey, McDonald's and your agency.
Yes.
Let's see that for next year's Monopoly, please. You've got a year. Mm-hmm. Time starts now.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So I'm very excited about this next one. Do you remember where Niantic really made their name?
Yes. It's
pre-Pokemon Go.
Pokemon Go.
What was it called?
Oh,
come on.
Dude.
5, 4, 3.
Not gonna get
similar to Father IO. 2, 1. Done. Ingress.
Sure.
They are re-releasing Ingress. It's called Ingress Prime. Same goals.
Even scarier.
Yeah. No. Same goals. You had the two factions. So for those that never, because remember, Ingress also was only available in the States, and then eventually it bled into Europe, and eventually all Android phones. But I actually had to use a VPN to get on my phone.
Okay.
But basically, so it is fully iOS and Android available, which it wasn't. It was only Android, and then right at the end, I think you could get on an iPhone. But they've set up a whole animated TV series as well, and also to show you how to play it.
Okay.
So anyone can actually learn how to play Ingress. So for those that don't know what we're talking about, basically you chose a site. You were fight or save, basically. They were public landmarks. So if I wanted to attack a public landmark, I'd go there, and then if you wanted to save it, you'd go there, and I'd lay bombs, and then you would disarm them. That was the game, but all in AR. And if you were a bypasser not playing Ingress and you watch these people sitting there staring at their phone, hitting their screen really hard, they just look crazy. I do think, though, with the success of Pokemon Go and the backing that Niantic now has, I think Ingress Prime could be a 2019 absolute sensation. People are still playing Pokemon Go. So just push a little message through to their device saying, Ingress, it's time to come and fight. And they've been training them to play Ingress. That's what Pokemon Go is.
It is.
So I'm going to play. I'm not sure if I'm going to become part of the faction or part of the save, but I am going to play.
I think part of that was one of the first. It was a moment where when people first heard about Ingress and tracking like everyone's absolute GPS location, engagement, what you're doing, where you're doing it, you're
killing your battery.
Killing your battery. It was that thing is like, is Google doing something here? Should we be worried about it? And then Pokemon Go came out and it was like, okay, that just passed. It was like the Snapchat, like, oh, Google Glass, like, it's okay. Snapchat, take pictures of everything. And I think now that it may be that people actually realize or don't realize that their geolocation, where they are in the world, is being tracked every second of every day by Google, by Facebook.
And Apple.
Yeah. Samsung. Like, I mean, Samsung's TVs are certainly listening to every single thing you're saying, so.
Let yourself turn off Samsung TV.
Yeah. But, it's like that question or understanding of what people are doing with your data and all that. So I'd like to see it. I mean, I'm sure that it's going to be a
I'm going to give it a whirl.
Totally.
Yeah.
It'll
I'm
be
definitely
going to
give it a whirl.
sure. I only have one other AR. Glass Up is an Italian business that is developed. Glass Up, one word, GLASSUP.
Jeez, they actually spelled it correctly.
Yeah. Augmented reality glasses. It has a camera built in and a microphone.
Do they look naff? I mean, like, does it look like you've just pulled these things out of an optometrist's shop and stuck it on your head?
They're from Italy, so they look okay. There's some design.
Yeah, Lambretta, Ferrari, Bugatti.
I think they're really trying to do sort of a step further than Epson, and so not just being kind of a clunky sort of, let's put a display in front of your eyes, but more of that remote assistance kind of thing. So someone can go out with the glasses on. It's got the screen. It's got the camera. It's actually
because that's not freaky at all.
No. Well, Google
glass holes.
It's Google Glass alternate. And that I think there are a few out there that do
Google
that.
Glass was just too early, man. That's all. I don't think. Yeah. I think after like Ready Player One came out, and the movie and everyone like kind of rehyped again. That's when you should have started releasing things like Google Glass, because it kind of would have been okay. But having that creepy guy in the gym wearing his Google Glass, watching, what's going on, not quite okay. You were talking about mining earlier. Asteroid mining? IBM has filed a patent for blockchain. So they basically want to allow AR applications to have trust via the blockchain. So they're going to put a distributed ledger together that if you're playing or you're building content or whatever. So it's probably really good timing. If Samsung's putting up a cloud farm that's going to allow you to host AR content and people are going to consume it, you could change the levels of safety. You could allocate the privacy. You could allocate accessibility because you haven't paid for it.
Yep.
Yeah. After Watson, now blockchain. I think IBM's really on a path to reinventing themselves. That's we used to always say like no one got fired for putting an IBM. I don't know if that's so true anymore, but it's kind of changing back again to IBM is still playing in the right space. So that was my only AR news.
I've got one other.
Tell me.
And this is maybe Kate can get on this. Industrial Light and Magic is doing an augmented reality play with porgs.
I remember those little things.
Those circle things,
right? Yeah, you used to flick them at each other and like try and win them.
Collectibles and the whole thing. And so if you throw all the ILM, capability of creating really cool hologrammy kind of things, you're almost creating porgograms or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they're going to
I'm watching Porg. Do you what? I'm watching Porg.
Yeah, but the for kids to collect stuff and have little battles, like the Lego ones we were talking about before,
yeah.
Right? So it's interesting, and because they've got the ability to actually produce the content, something.
It's probably more. I mean, not probably. We're still talking about AR. It's an AR feature, but like Peter Rabbit, the storybook for kids, they've now moved into AR as well, where you can bring the characters to life. Because books are flat. It's 1D or 2D and you read it. So now they're bringing it to life because the publishers have realized that kids are moving to TV and computers because it animates, it engages. Looking at a book, no one wants to do anymore. So they might actually, for the publishing industry, augmented reality will be the savior, is that you can only get that content through the physical AR book until we don't need it anymore. When the MR kicks in.
That's what kills me is that when I was in News Corp and just saying you have newsprint magazines going everywhere and you have, the potential. You own Fox News, for example, right? Yeah. And you own Fox Sports. So why wouldn't you empower your entire news section? You could just, 100%. Hey, I want to see the video. Tap it and be like,
you're reading the story about the play from last night when the guy breaks his arm. Show it.
Exactly.
Because they're going to go to their phones anyway.
Exactly.
Keep them there.
And you make it relevant. You keep the lean back capability of traditional print discovery, but you're empowering it with technology. And you're not
100%.
in the screen, so you're giving the form factor like this. It's like you don't need to reinvent a new tech. You've already got apps. Everyone has a phone. And the data points collected between knowing that someone actually engaged with certain content in the news. Like, you don't know what people are reading. Now you actually can see.
Yeah.
And the ads, the potential for new ad delivery, like, guys.
But you and I have been talking to publishers for how many years about this?
I know. We've been doing AR forever, and it's like...
It's, before we wrap up, because we are already at that point, quickly on VR.
Yep.
Forbes, because it's from Italy, so everything's good. So if it's from Forbes, it has to be right. But they're predicting a VR future specifically for people like Comcast, or as you would say, Comcast, and Verizon.
Comcast.
So the operators, where all content will be delivered via VR headsets. I really seriously hope that doesn't happen. That you put the power into the telco's hands and take it away from the publisher's hands. Because at the moment, Netflix are winning that war. They're pulling it back. Now I'm going to be sitting there with whoever my telco is going, well, actually, if you want to watch it, you have to watch it in VR, and for $9.99 you can buy my set. Now I'm sitting in my house with 17 different VR sets because I watch sport with Fox and I watch cartoons with whatever, I don't know. Guys, please, just let's make it a open, everyone can play, put it in the clouds. Fight for the cloud space and the bandwidth. Just leave the ownership of the content alone.
It is.
Anyway, but Forbes said so. So it's all good.
I will share a single bit of VR news, and I think this is, again, I think the 5G will change the hardware scene dramatically. What's required to be in the hardware itself, and what's in the cloud, and what's actually being streamed. It's going to be content and a screen experience. PC manufacturer Zotac, ZOTAC, has released its second generation VR Go backpack PC. So HP has one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Razer has one. These guys have. It's a second generation VR backpack. So
where was their first?
Yeah.
Okay, all good.
And interestingly enough, they went with the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1070 graphics card, and there's a 1080 and a 1080 SI or something like that, and that's not even the new one with the ray tracing stuff. So they're going with a bit low earlier one that has the guaranteed performance, whereas a 1080 has not really been picked up.
That's a good move.
It is. Now, this is it's questionable how long we're going to need that backpack VR experience and that backpack power to run a VR. I mean, first of all, carrying like a computer on your backpack, on your back for anyone, it's just not really.
Well, we carry them all day long, though. If you think about it,
we do.
Our laptops and our backpacks.
Absolutely. And if they actually had a decent headset that didn't look like a complete tweetathon, like I might actually use it, but that always on VR experience. The use case is not there yet.
No.
Even always on AR experience. Like, unless there's enough information that I could use and I actually had the use case and the way to use it. Like, if I was walking around and I had 3 screens around me all the time, no, right? And I wouldn't want to wear glasses all the time. I mean, you're not wearing your glasses now, even you have glasses, right?
I left them at home.
Right? So, I think there's a long way to go before we can actually argue for that requirement. Anyway.
No, it's thought-provoking. That's what we're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
So we're there, man. We're at the top of the hour. I'm done on my side. Are you done yours?
I am.
Well, then it's just until next week. Keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.
Thanks for listening to our latest episode of The Technology Show. Remember, for more episodes, hop onto eaglewavesradio.com.au, follow us on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Catch you next time.